So I want us to look at x arguments, whatever this is. There are times when you want to define a function that takes varying number of arguments. Let us revisit our multiply function, where we had defined a function multiply. The name of the function was multiply, and then we have two parameters, number one and number two. Return number one times number two, then you multiply 2 and 3. So this is working perfectly. Now, what if we want to pass one or two more arguments, like multiply 2, 3, 4, 5? This will not work because a multiply function will only take two parameters or two arguments. In order to solve this problem, we will have to redefine our function. We replace the two parameters with a single parameter, numbers, where we use plural to indicate collection of arguments. We then prefix it with an asterisk. This is the interesting part. Now, this is our function, and let's run this together. So you see, we have this other, we have this, we have four arguments, but our function had two parameters. You see that we have an error here. Too many positional arguments for function. So if we run this, we'll get that error. That is too many positional arguments. So for us to be able to have this, I want us to change this so that here we just have one name. We just have one name like that, like numbers. Then let's prefix this with asterisk. Let us prefix that with asterisk. Then we save. Then you save. You see the error goes. So you return numbers. Let's return the numbers like that. Now multiply. You print what we get here. So let's clear this error. So if you print this, you see that it will give you what you call a tuple, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is what we are calling it a tuple. That is, this is a tuple, a collection of, it's just like a list. I'll tell you the difference between the two. So this is used when we want to define, when we want to use an argument with any number of, a function with any number of arguments. So let us run the program. You'll get the numbers, this one. Earlier in the program, we mentioned about lists. I mentioned that we can use square brackets to create a list of objects. There is a section we will talk about lists in our program. What you will notice here is that the difference between the lists we mentioned earlier and the ones we see here is in the notation. We use square brackets to create lists, and we use parentheses to create tuples. A tuple is similar to a list, and it is a collection of objects. The difference between the two is that tuples are immutable. That means they cannot be modified. We cannot, for example, add more items to this tuple. Later, we will have a section on lists, tuples, dictionaries, and other data structures in Python. What matters now is that these tuples are iterables. That means we can loop over them. Let me show you how. So let's define the function. We're still using the same function. So we have that the arguments there. For num in numbers, print num. Then we call that function using multiply 2, 3, 4. So when you run the code, you see each number printed on the terminal. I want us to run this. So we have num in nums. Print num like that. Then we call that like that. Let's run this. Let's clear this. So you see, we are printing each of them because this is iterable. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. So for num in nums, we are iterating over what we have in that tuple. Now, so when you run the code, you get each number printed on the terminal. So with a simple change, we are now able to compute the product of the numbers. We'll define a new variable called product so that we will hold that. So this is our new function. So we have a variable called prod, which we are initializing to 1. So for number in nums, you product equals to prod.num. I mean multiply by num. Then you return product. So one of the problems I see with beginner code is that they do not put the indentation properly and put return under the for loop, such that it will be executed after every iteration. They then get frustrated about their programming not running. Put it at the same level as the for statement. We loop over all the numbers to calculate the value of prod. So with this, we can now return the results and print it on the terminal. So I want us to run this. So here is this is our program. This is our program. So I mean, we are defining a function here, multiply numbers. So so we have here product equals to 1, which is our variable. Then for number in nums, product equals to product times, we are using the augmented assignment operator here, times num, return product. Make sure the level of return and for are the same. So when we print this, we get 360. So that is, we get 360, not 120. But if we put this argument here, we'll get 120. But for ours, we put different arguments.